Hey guys, let's talk about sex. Sexual reproduction, at least. But let's start off with the forefront, reproduction. Reproduction obviously means reproduce, make more of an organism, a something. And so there's two ways. There's asexual, which just means one thing can make more of itself without having another of itself. There's no mother and father. There's nothing. It's just it, and it just copies its traits onto another organism, which is wacky. A few larger organisms do, like some snails, many sea creatures do, but mostly it's single-celled, little tiny bacteria and stuff like that. Sexual has a mother and a father, paternal, maternal, and it takes two to make one whole organism. They take both their genetic material, mix it up in a big old mixing pot. Not really, but it's fun to say it like that. And voila, it begins to make more cells of this little organism and it becomes a thing. That's how we're made. We, plants, most other big organisms, animals, bugs, it's pretty wacky. So, by nature, sexual reproduction is the smartest thing to do. For a lot of creatures, they can't because it's literally a cell. They don't have the ability to do everything it takes to be sexually reproductive. But here's why sexual reproduction is better. First off, traits have a wide variety of what they are and what they can be. With asexual reproduction, all of your offspring have pretty much the same traits as you. Have the same traits as you. They're an identical copy of yourself. Literally, it's just you taking you and just be like, blah, there's me. And if there's something wrong with them or wrong with you, it's going to be wrong with them too. And there's no way to fix that either. But when you mix your own traits with somebody else's, there's a million different outcomes of what your offspring's traits would be, which I think is pretty cool. Number two, because you're mixing your genetic material with somebody else's, your offspring are way less likely to have a genetic mutation. Unless you're inbred, which you're mixing the same genes, and they're likely to get confuzzled and freak out, which is predictable. But with asexual reproduction, it's really easy to have really bad mutations, and it's not like you can breed it out. It's just there, and you're just out of luck, which really sucks for asexual animals, but they can't help it. I can't do anything about it. So where exactly or how does sexual reproduction start? Well, it starts pretty much in our somatic or our body cells, which contain chromosomes all over. Our body cells make up everything, and these cells are called diploid cells. Now, all these body cells have some mix of DNA, and they all have 23 pairs of chromosomes and 46 chromosomes in total. So 23 times 2 is 46. In each pair, out of these 23, one chromosome is from the maternal or the mother organism, and the other one is from the paternal or the father organism. Our reproductive cells, known as gametes, only have one set. They only have 23 chromosomes. So they have half of the amount of normal body cells, which makes them haploid cells, which means half. So when a mother and a father organism mix their DNA and stuff together, haploid cells combine to make a full set of 46. 23 pairs in total, which makes a baby of some sort. In animals, our reproductive cells are known as sperm for men, for males of our species, mammals, animals, etc. And for females of our species, it's going to be eggs from our ovaries and sperm from testes. In plants, haploid germ cells are formed by meiosis, which we'll learn about in a minute. Meiosis is a wonderful process that makes all the sexual reproduction cells and whatever else in all sexually reproducing organisms. So our haploid cells and our gametes are all made from meiosis. Meiosis is when specialized diploid cells get split in half one time to create daughter cells, and then those cells split off into two again to make granddaughter cells. And they all have different genetically coded DNA and everything. So none of them are the same. So unlike with asexual creatures, when they reproduce, they're all the same. With sexually reproducing creatures, they start off different from the get-go. Now, what does meiosis look like? Because me talking about it only does so much. So, on to me to see exactly what it is and what the phases are. So this is interphase. It's the beginning of meiosis, and as you can see, it's just a solid one. It's a single diploid cell with 46 chromosomes. There's the two sets of 23, and with 2 centrosomes. This is prophase 2. Our DNA has been copied, so now we have 2 full sets of chromosomes, and they have begun to pair up. So now we start metaphase 1. As you can see, the nuclear envelope has completely broken down. The centrosomes have released spindles, which are holding on to our little chromosomes. And the chromosomes have been lined up between the 2 centrosomes. So, moving on to the next one. The spindles have totally pulled apart the chromosomes, and they've already switched segments with one another, and they're being pulled up to the opposite ends to either of the centrosomes. The cells are starting to separate. It's telophase part 1. You can see it's pinching right here, and the new nuclear envelope for either one of the new cells is beginning to form. Woohoo! We're on to prophase 2. There's 2 daughter cells with 2 new sets of centrosomes, and there's no DNA replication in this. We're now on the metaphase 2. As you can see, our nuclear envelope has completely disappeared. Our centrosomes have moved to the side and released their spindles, and they're starting to pull apart our chromosomes. In anaphase 2, our sister chromatids have split apart and are heading to either end of the spindles. In telophase 2, our cells have begun to split with either of the sister chromatids inside, and there's soon to be 4 new cells. So now at the end of all that, we have 4 lovely granddaughter cells, each with their own sets of centrosomes, and with all genetically different setups. Which is pretty neato. These are all haploid cells, and they're gonna make people and other organisms that sexually reproduce. When an animal's eggs and sperm get mixed up, it brings diploid cells back to their total of 46 chromosomes in a process called fertilization. And during fertilization, 2 haploid cells form together to create a zygote, which is the first cell of the new offspring organism. So next time your kids ask you, what's sex, or where do babies come from, be oddly specific and scientific. Thank you for watching my video.